I did want to talk about a couple other quotes here that I took away here from the AC Kickoff. One quote in particular, CJ Bailey said was, and I quote, "I was winging it my first year," which I kind of take that with a little bit of grain of salt in the fact that you're a true freshman. You're coming in basically told Grayson McCall is starting quarterback, period. Like there's no competition. Like it's Grayson McCall is your starting quarterback here. So, I don't think there was obviously a lot of expectations for him going into the year saying, all right, you better, you know, like you gotta be ready, you gotta be up and ready to go. Like, it was probably pretty much said that you're gonna take this year and develop and learn, get used to the offense, and then be ready for next year to compete here. So
Enjoy the clipboard.
enjoy the clipboard. Exactly. So Ethan, I mean, like, do you take that quote as verbatim? I was completely just like, I don't know. He's open. I'll throw it that way. Or do you think that you probably had an idea, but just didn't have all like the reps from the offseason to have full confidence of every single play he was running?
I I mean, I think there's an element of both, right? Like we know how challenging the quarterback position is, particularly mentally. And look, you can have all the traits, right? But if it doesn't click for you mentally, it's not going to work. And so I do think, like, yeah, an 18-year-old, like, State doesn't play many true freshmen, like Jalen McClendon wasn't able to earn it. Took Devin Leary two or
You
three
got to go
years
back
to
a
get
little
settled.
ways.
Yeah. I mean, even Russell Wilson, right? I mean, you have to go back to Philip Rivers, right? Um, who started as a freshman. So, um, yeah, I think it makes sense. I do think there's an element of like as a freshman, you're just going out there and playing, and there's also an element of you don't know what you don't know, right? Like you don't know all the
Right.
negatives. You're going out there a little more. On one side, it's negative because you don't have a great grasp of the playbook, but on the other side, you're just playing. You're not thinking. You don't have time to think, And so, yeah, I 100% get what he's saying. And again, that's what we were talking about it earlier. Like that's kind of why I did wonder if there would be. I shouldn't say I wonder. I thought there would be a bigger step forward from CJ Bailey year 1 to year 2. And again, not to say it won't happen year 2 to year 3, but you expect that to grow. You expect that part of the game to get easier for you, especially he's still very young, 19, 20 years old, 20, I guess, probably by now.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, no, and again, I think that also too. I mean, like, kind of building off it though. Like, I think that for him, I definitely have a lot of belief in the fact of that he has a better understanding of where he truly needs to be, and from a leadership perspective, to help a team be successful. And the fact that like one other quote that he mentioned, and Greg, I'll let you speak on this. He said, and I quote, "What we need is an alpha leader, and that's what I am right now." Now, with that being said, keep in mind that you were not given the number one jersey. Now, can a quarterback? I mean, quarterback hasn't been given the number one jersey yet. So, I don't know if it's necessarily, if that kind of plays into it here at all. But the fact that Duke Scott, who was there, who got the number one jersey and was, he even said multiple times during the whole AC kickoff process, talking about, Duke Scott and what of a leader he is at such a young age, for CJ to still come out and say, listen, we still need an alpha leader. We still need leadership. And I am that person right now. I think it says a lot in terms of from a confidence perspective. That you feel extremely confident. The locker room is going to be in good hands. The culture is going to stay strong and is going to be strong at the start of the season and more than likely throughout the season.
Yeah, I look, the quarterback is going to be a natural, it's going to be a leader of the team in any shape or form. Like that's just how it goes. That's comes with the territory. Um, you have different types of leaders. You have the rah get in your face type of leader, a verbal kind of guy. You have a service leader where they just go out and lead by example. So we don't know necessarily what type of leaders these are, but they are leaders, right? And you even heard Isaiah Shirley when he was on the podium saying that he's taking more of a leadership role with it being his fourth year in the program. Um, I think that I don't CJ doesn't come off in the few times that I've had interactions with him, and again, it's not necessarily in the locker room, which is completely different in everything. He doesn't seem like an aggressive leader, if you will. There's no doubt that he demands respect and he has a presence, but it just seems that he's probably one of those leaders that goes out and puts in the work, does the film study. People just see what he's doing. And then, he tells the boys, let's go. It again just feels like that from the outside. Um, but I definitely think that all 3 of the men that were representing the Pack last week in Charlotte are leaders. I don't think they would have been there in that position speaking to that group of media members if they weren't leaders in some regard. And so, yeah, I do think that CJ and Duke and like they will be great leaders this year for this team. And you'll learn pretty quick once you start finding out who's captains and all of that, right? Because again, those captains typically have those leadership traits as well.
True. Now, a quote which, Ethan, I'll leave this to you first here, as you've obviously, mentioned CJ Bailey's name a lot, even just in this live show itself here. So I wanna ask you about one other quote that, Coach Doeren said, which I know for me personally, I got sent to me by probably 4 different people, including my own wife even, where Coach Doeren said, "CJ Bailey could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country." To which everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, like, what the heck is he saying?" Which to me, Ethan,
It's
again,
not
he
that
said
not that hot.
could be. I know,
Yeah.
he said could be. He didn't say is going to be the best
Or
quarterback in the country
is.
or is. He said could be. So, Ethan, with all the concern you still have, could CJ Bailey be the best quarterback in the country this upcoming season?
Well, I don't know about the best, but could be one of the best. Yeah, like the tools are there. Like I don't think that's really
Real quick, define one of the best. Like top 5?
that was his quote.
Okay. So,
Um,
yeah,
Well, I mean, if he's top
I,
10, top 15, that's one of the best as with as many teams that play football. I mean, that's, top
yeah,
5%,
right.
that's one of the best. Again, I don't know what that
And I
number
mean
is.
that's
We talk
top
about poker
20,
math.
25% of power four
Yeah,
teams,
sure.
like and it's hard, like, JKS at Cal, like I think a lot of people would tell you he's better than CJ Bailey, but his what he's got around him is probably worse. So is he going to be quote unquote better? Like, and so to me, that's kind of where it's, kind of tough. I think, I look at guys who to me are definitively better than him. You got Darian Mensah. He's the only one in the ACC who's definitively better. Again, a lot of people would put JKS in that category. I do think that would be fair. Arch Manning, um, Dante Moore at
Mm,
Oregon. Oh, Greg, come on. Julian Sayin at
just
stop,
saying.
Greg.
Hot take. I'm not taking.
Stop.
I'm not sold on
You're
Arch
taking
Manning.
CJ Bailey over Arch Manning?
No, no, but I'm not saying that
Oh,
Arch Manning is definitively better than
okay.
CJ.
Okay. I do think Arch got, like, a lot of heat early
Yeah,
on and then got a lot better when people
he
had kinda
did.
stopped paying attention. So,
He did.
Dante Moore at Oregon, I'm trying to think,
well, I mean, I got
there's gonna
one,
be
and
some
it's
guys
close
who
to
weren't
home
fun to
here.
see.
It's gonna be close to home here. Lenore Sellers or CJ Bailey from South Carolina. Lenore Sellers from South Carolina or CJ Bailey.
Hmm.
They're pretty close.
They're pretty close. That's what I'm saying.
Sellers
I think
maybe with a
Sellers
notch.
to me, Sellers has a little more raw talent and 2 extremely talented players.
Correct.
But I think Bailey is a little more like, okay, the production is
He's more
actually there
refined.
than it is for
Yeah.
Sellers. Yeah.
Mhm.
So are you telling me he could be top 10 in the AC in the country? I could see that. Top 5 to me feels like a stretch. Like I don't think you'll see him on any Heisman lists, but
Yeah.
top 10 to 12, like yeah, I could see him there. Again, the physical talent is there. If he puts it together and takes a big step forward, yeah, I expect like this is a guy who could take a big step forward. That again, I
And he
expected to see last year or thought we would see it. Like, could he
and
get to
CJ's
4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ethan, but CJ has gotten a little bit of national love. He's been mentioned on some national, podcast and those types of things. So people are watching, people are looking. And so I don't think Doran's comments are too far out of line. And again, top 10, top 15, that's one of the top quarterbacks in the country is again,
Yeah.
there's 50 programs, 65 programs that play Power 4 football. Again, public math's hard, so don't quote me. But if there's 50 and he's top 10, that's the, top tier of the percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna get a lot of love from draft guys too. Like that's he's
Mhm.
very, very toolsy. He's very toolsy.
Yeah. Plus he's
You gotta figure out
tall, like he's got
he's
yeah,
small, yeah, he's got all the measurables.
yep.
Question for NC State is can you get it to translate? And if it does, yeah, I think he's gonna get a lot of buzz, a lot of hype headed into the draft. I would not at all be surprised to see him in the draft next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. If he has the year that people are projecting, I could definitely see a scenario where he's top 3 rounds. And then if he tests out well, he could even jump from there. But yeah, he's got the tangibles. Look, if he can cut down the interceptions like by a third, so he throws 6 interceptions this year. Maybe he gets some of those running touchdowns back from Will Wilson. And has
Oh,
some positive.
will he though? I don't
I
think he will. I think
I
he'll
don't think he
lose.
will. Yeah, I don't I agree with that statement. I'm just saying, um, and maybe you get a couple more running yards where, he instead of throwing the ball away, he runs for 3 yards or 4 yards in a cloud of dust. Like, give me something, um, and shows that maturity, that it takes that step, right? And again, Dave Doeren said, "Could be." So, he leaves the door open in either direction.